everyone, welcome to the channel. So let's talk about one of the most important topics continuing in the series that we have is a term which is most prevalent in the authorization world, which is called OAuth. And I think everybody should understand how does the authorization actually works and what exactly the terms and the technologies that are underneath that makes authorization work in computer systems. So OAuth is a technical standard for authorizing users. It's a protocol, just like the protocol that we studied in the previous video, which is kind of SAML, right? This OAuth is a protocol as well, which provides the authorization from one service to another. Again, authorization, not authentication, right? This provides authentication for all the user credentials, such as username, password. Users can sign into the platform and be authorized to perform the actual actions that they are doing. Not just entering in, but performing the actual actions on the platform. OAuth is that standard that makes it possible to pass the authorization from the applications, regardless of who the two applications are. So you can be on one application trying to do everything, but you might have been authorized through somebody else, and that's where that standard that lets us do those actions in one application, regardless of where our identity is coming from or where our authority is coming from. That's what OAuth is. So it's the common method to pass. We know in one of the previous videos when we learned SAML that there is single sign-on, that you need to sign on to the service. OAuth makes it easier to authorize and access the applications through the system. So there are other protocols as well which also do the similar function, but OAuth is one of the most prevalent ones out there. Taking an example, for example, let's just say a visitor comes into your home and you want them to come into your home. You don't send them a key, for example, but let's just say you send them a code. When they enter your home, they can use the code to get into your home and find the key within your lock, right? So you're not giving them the key, but you are giving them the code to get the key. And that's what OAuth does. In OAuth, one application sends another application that authorization token. Again, the word is important. Authorization token to give a user access instead of sending the credentials. So here, considering credentials is just like a key, here I'm not giving them the actual key, but I'm giving them a token instead. And that token is just like a code. And that code lets them enter and do certain actions that they really want to do. And that's what the OAuth token is in general. So let's go deeper into this and understand how the authorization tokens actually work in system. So now, for example, I need to access my company's file storage application, and I have already, signed into my company's single sign-on, for example, right? Here, let's just say I need to access the file storage application, and I open up this file storage application. Now, application request from the SSO, the authorization. I need to get that authorization. Can I go and see those files inside? And that's what the authorization does. So SSO, the single sign-on service, sends that authorization OAuth token to the application itself. So if I'm trying to get to the application, that's where the authorization token works. The token literally takes that information about what privileges do I have within the application. There are other things as well that happen in the token. There could be a time limit. What's the amount of time when the token is going to get expired? All those things come and in that token to make sure that my token is being used to access or being authorized for that service. Now, things happen in the background. There is HTTPS protocols that are using, we have these tokens are being encrypted as well. There's a lot of shenanigans that are happening, but in general, the crux is the tokens work through HTTPS, getting that encryption enabled and making sure that we get the access to the application and we can do certain things on that application through the OAuth protocol. Got it? Now let's understand, why is OAuth used now? Why is it needed? Why do I really want to use it? Now, we already talked about it. There's for authorizing the users to get to the application. So if I'm using, for example, the blogging websites, the news websites, online games, anything, OAuth protocol happens all behind the scenes, to enable those external apps to access. For example, if I'm using a website to get into gaming, for example, but I want to use Google's system to authorize me to get into that gaming, OAuth works behind the scenes, get the necessary data from, let's just say, Google, and make sure that I can go and use those, websites or anything that I'm basically trying to do. So the whole function of OAuth works with that biggest concept that we learn in identity and access management, and that comes where the access management part comes in. Not the identity. Identity is with SAML that we learn, but in this case, the access management piece comes where the OAuth tokens are going to work. And that's where, any employees who wants to sign in to single sign-on, they can use the username and password, which is again identity of them, and the SSO system gives them the access to the application in whatever they need to do the job. But OAuth is the one which lets them access those applications in a certain way with that authorization token. So I hope this is clear. Again, authorization, not identification, right? So there are so many authorization protocols today, that we have, but OAuth is one of the most prevalent ones out there, being used for the information. The new standard that we have is the OAuth token 2.0, which is the latest version of OAuth. There were previous ones like OAuth 1.0 with certain vulnerabilities and things like that. The OAuth 2.0 is the most prevalent one that is being used in the industry. Now, talking again about the SAML and OAuth, you need to be very, very clear about these things, about how the OAuth privileges are working and how is the SAML identity functions are doing, right? So in authentication and authorization, they are synonymous overall. Like if you have authentication, that's much more synonymous with SAML, and if you have authorization, that's much more conversant with OAuth in general. So authentication is with the user's identity, whereas the authorization is with the user's privileges, right? So these two things form the foundation of identity and access management. Giving just an example over again, that if I want to enter a facility and I'm going to a parking lot, for example, and I'm seeing so many cars, the person at the gate lets me enter into the parking lot. Once I'm there, SAML works behind the scenes to make sure that I can enter in the facility of the parking lot to go and put my car somewhere. But OAuth is the one which is using authorization, using the authorization behind the scenes to make sure once I have entered into the parking lot, where am I gonna keep my car? Am I going to keep my car in this particular floor? Am I allowed to keep cars anywhere out there? And that's where authorization is. Maybe there are certain places only VIP people can put up their cars, and that's where the authorization of it only lets me park the car at certain places where I can only do that, and that's where the OAuth comes in. So these two are the two parallel things that comes all behind the scenes where the magic of single sign-on happens. There is so many other concepts that I'm so excited to talk about in the next few videos ahead, but I hope this was helpful for you. You now understand what OAuth is. If there's anything that you want to learn more, please comment below in the videos below, and I hope I can make more videos like this for all you folks. And please keep giving me more love, and thanks a lot for this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Checking out.